Hey, greetings ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the scrap heap. I have a special project this particular week. Last time I updated you on bringing the greenhouse back up to speed, and I still have some work to do. I've got to finish erecting some of the timber frame on this side of the greenhouse for symmetry and extra structural support, especially when the wind blows. Just like I have over here, I'm going to put that same support structure over here. And then I'm still looking for scrap carpet and large scale boxes and various things that I can use to cover this floor. Because for the last 2 years, the big problem here in the greenhouse has been overcoming all the weeds. And I left all of this greenhouse stuff sort of on the back burner while I was building the scrap house, collecting scrap and applying the scrap and putting it all together. And so once again, now that the scrap house is functional and it sleeps great, I've got the shower installed, and I've got the biogas toilet ready for installation. I had to go get some additional tubing so that I could run the biogas system out of the house, along with the tubing for the shower. So on the left hand side you see the PVC pipe. That's the exit port for the shower, which I've got a 2-inch coupling that I'm going to extend that. And then this blue tube here is connected directly to the biogas toilet, which I also need to extend. And I'm also going to have to set up the biogas digester, and I believe I'm going to set it up right over here next to this little maple tree. And I'll build a elevated platform for it. I'll probably encapsulate it in some corrugated PVC, similar to the stuff that I have on the roof for the rain barrel water tower, and for the upper windows for the tiny scrap house. And so I'll probably build an enclosed box, a nice enclosure, so it stays warm and it absorbs lots of sunlight so that the bacteria can survive and thrive and do their thing in a rapid manner even during the wintertime. So to that end, my project today, I went to Piedmont Plastics and bought this acrylic tube. My theory here is that I'm going to use that acrylic tube as a manifold. So I'm going to pull those siphons, those same siphons that I pulled earlier on all 5 of these rain barrels, and run them into the manifold. The manifold should equalize the pressure and equalize the level in all 5 of the barrels. And then I'll plumb a tube out of the top of the manifold in order to plumb the house and plumb the biogas toilet. And I may install a sink inside. I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to do that yet or not, but it's really a work in progress, like all of this stuff is. So so that's my project today. So I've just got some holes drilled in the base of the manifold, which I went online last night and found a couple of YouTube videos that tutorials on how to drill acrylic, because it is a rigid plastic and it can be very destructive to its integrity if you drill it wrong or you cut it wrong, and then you get cracks and chips and all sorts of stuff. And I'd rather not deal with that, especially in a $250 or $150 pipe such as this. So the theory here is that I'm going to have these little inserts. I'm going to place 5 of them along the circumference of the tube, and these will be inserted. I'll seal them up with a waterproof silicone sealant. I bought some RTV from AutoZone that's designed for radiators and high pressure situations, although the pressure situation here is not going to be very high. But it's an appropriate sealant that should hold steady. So I'm going to install these in here. There'll be 5 of them along the circumference, and then from this part of the tube here, these will I'll slide a 1/2 inch clear vinyl tube that will run from this tube, which will be at the base of the manifold, and they will go upward and connect to the top of the rain barrels, where there is a tube running all the way to the bottom of the rain barrels, so that I can pull a siphon and run that siphon into this manifold, and the pressure differential between barrels will equalize the level in those barrels. Not perfectly, albeit, but it just should, in theory, equalize them out. Very much like the header that I ran last time. The only problem with the header that I ran last time is that it's opaque. I can't see the condition of the water. I can't see the water level, and I basically can't see what's going on with the water system with this old manifold that I tried to use last time. It did work. I had and still have running water out of this guy, but once again, it does not give me a line level indication, and the amount of fittings that I have connected to it have also allowed the siphons to drop. I guess they've allowed some air in. So the connections to the tube, running from the tube into the rain barrels, should be airtight, and of course watertight. So there shouldn't be any leaks. There shouldn't be any air gaps. There shouldn't be any problems with water pulling and maintaining its siphon from the barrel to the tube. And of course, it will fill this tube up to the high mark of the water level in the rain barrels. So the tube will sit like this, upright, and those 5 fittings will be in the base of the tube down near the bottom. And then the water level, I'm going to make this about, I want to make it, well, I've got it marked at 36 inches, which should, well, that'll give me some level. The barrels themselves are, I believe, 38 inches tall, or at least that's where I intend to put the overflow valve for when the rain gutter starts filling up too much. So I'm going to cut this basically in half so I can have spare parts for a second manifold in case something happens with this one. And this will be an equalizing manifold as well as a line level indicator, and tell me how much water is in all the barrels, and will also allow the barrels to equalize in pressure and distribute the water from the main fill barrel, the one that the rain gutter goes into. Will allow that barrel to equalize with the other 4 barrels and get all their levels to a relatively equal height. My previous experiments with getting them equalized did work, albeit imperfectly, and this one should work, and I expect it to be as imperfect as anything else I've done out here. But as long as it's functional, that's all that matters to me. Most of this is about function rather than form. And now that the house is, mostly functional, minus the running water aspect and the toilet aspect. Go ahead! Somebody's getting ready to do some shooting. What was I going to say? Oh, it's all about function right now. It's not about form. So anyway, the more along I get with the function of everything, the more I can start focusing on form. But I think that's probably going to be years away. Anyway, I wanted to bring you up to date on that and document my project this week. And I will touch base with you again shortly. So for now, enjoy the peace of nature and guns. Do another one! Yeah. Hey, what are you waiting for? Come on! Well, enjoy the peace of nature. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll touch back with you again shortly.